it comes to academic performance, female students achieve better results than males. But why is that? Today, boys are twice as likely to be diagnosed with ADHD and then 3 times more likely to be medicated. These are just some of the troubling trends when it comes to school-age boys. But according to our next guest, boys certainly aren't a lost cause. Edmund Dixon is the author of Helping Boys Learn. He joins us in the studio. Boy, we've had so many kitchen table conversations about boys versus girls, and you've got some stuff and studies to back it up. You've done some extensive research to put this book out there.
Right. Well, we know that boys underachieve in the ways you talked about, but also there's a large, probably the majority of boys don't even bring their full game to school. They don't really work as hard as they could in many cases. And part of that has to do because they're not as engaged. And so what I've done in this new book is identify what we call 6 secrets that help boys learn better. And these things are secrets that have worked for the millennium for boys to help them learn. And what we would like is to have parents and teachers just become aware of them, understand them, and then we've got some simple strategies that can make it really effective for boys.
So this isn't just for, the teachers. So this is something that the parents can be. Let me run through something to ask you about some of the secrets. So movement is one of them. Tell me about that.
Boys' brains hardwire for movement from the earliest days, and we know that they love movement. They have more wiring than girls for movement. So what you do is often use movement in the context of learning.
In the classroom.
Right, well, or as a parent.
Okay.
So let's take an example. Let's say that your child is working on math and they have to remember something. So if you were to ask them, they have to remember the definition of a triangle. If you were to say to them, okay, well, let's do this. A triangle has 3 sides and 3 vertices, and say that. For boys, it creates an extra neural pathway for them to understand.
So you're talking about really hand motion, you're doing visual as well.
Visual movement. Action or perceived movement. That's why boys love video games.
Yeah.
And so if we know that they love these things, and all we have to do is to put a little bit of it into what they learn both at home and school, it supercharges their learning, and it makes it a lot easier for parents to help encourage their kids to learn.
Another secret is game.
Game, right. So if we were to take that same concept, we know that game is really important, and boys like game because they get a jolt of testosterone when they set a goal and achieve it, and that's why they love to play video games or sports or things like that.
Because they can focus when that's happening.
Right. So let's say, again, you're at home, and so you've got your 8-year-old, and he's got that same definition, which is a triangle has 3 sides and 3 vertices. We'll play a game called back and forth, and I would say the first word, which is A, and you would say triangle, has 3 sides and 3 vertices. Boys, you do that with boys, and they're totally focused because they want to win the game, but at the same time, they're making strong neural connections that help them, without even thinking about it, to learn better in the classroom.
Humor.
Well, we know that boys have a different type of humor. A lot of women feel it's the word puerile is the Greek word for boy, right? That kind of sense of humor that's kind of gross and ridiculous, etc. But we also know from the brain research that humor focuses boys' minds. And so that if you are in a situation where you need a boy to focus and you ask him to think about the funny side of something, or you bring up a joke related to what you're learning, creates a stronger neural connection there for his learning. We don't have time to go through all of them, but I did want to ask you about mastery is one of your secrets. Right. Mastery is one of the higher levels. The first ones I mentioned are the ones you bring boys into. But mastery is what boys need to achieve if they're going to become really good at something. And it's what keeps them in school long term because they want to become good at it. And to achieve that, what you need to do is to allow them a certain amount of control in their own learning so that they can, you mentioned you had a 16-year-old, a lot of his decisions he's going to make on his own. And you want him to do that because he's going to get older. So what we wanted to do with all of these was to share with parents the fact that they're there. I have the book out now, but we also have a website that has a quiz. And
Tell me about the quiz.
So if you go to helpingboyslearn.com or our Facebook page, you can take a really cool quiz, takes 3 minutes, and tells you what kind of learner, which of those 6 secrets, game, movement, humor, mastery, challenge, or meaning, are the ones to start with to help that child learn. And you can do that if your child is older or if you're sitting there and you know they're going to school in a few years and you want them to be really ready.
That's fascinating.
Final thing I'll mention too, which is this is focused for parents, but I have a parent and a teacher edition book. And we're really excited because we're going to be partnering with a nonprofit in Canada to bring information, training, and resources to parents and teachers throughout Canada in like a boys learning initiative. So this is sort of the launch of it.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us this morning.
Thank you very much.